What's good with y'all boys, man? We're back again with another video, and today we got something very interesting to talk about that I did not expect to happen, especially not right now. As many of y'all know by now, but if you don't, let me tell you, Karl Anthony Towns has been traded, or is in the process of being traded, something like that. You know what it be, of being traded to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo. Now, this isn't like unprecedented or anything, because wasn't it the Dame trade, or maybe it was the James Harden trade, where it was like last year right around this time, right before training camp, or like right when training camp was starting. So this isn't unprecedented, but I was not expecting it. I thought most of the big moves were done, and I just posted my NBA tier list, bro, and now I look like an idiot. I should have waited till like the day before the season like I was going to, but y'all were getting a lot of NFL and stuff like that, and I didn't want y'all to be getting just be getting worn out with that stuff, bro. I posted that video, and then a few hours after the video was posted, I'm sitting at my girl's house. I'm sitting in their kitchen. I'm eating pizza. I'm living my best life, and I see on my phone an ESPN notification come through, and then immediately, group chat blowing up. Immediately, we get into arguments about is the four dead, or is like positions in basketball dead. I said positions, period, were dead, not just the four. That's not a whole argument I'm even going to get into right now. Bro, the first thing I thought when I saw this move was, why? For me, the first thing, well, it wasn't actually that. The first thing I thought when I saw this move was, oh, the Knicks won the deal. And now that I've had almost 24 hours to sit and think on it, I don't know if I want to call this trade a win-win or a lose-lose. Because it's like, these are two all-star caliber players. These are two, like, Julius Randle's guy is going to get you 20 and 10. Cat's a guy that can get you that and even is a better scorer. But there's also problems with both of them. Now, I was somebody that, as many of y'all remember, I did not think Julius Randle fit with the current day Knicks, with the Knicks the way that they are set up. I thought literally Jalen Brunson looked better when Julius Randle was injured, when Julius Randle wasn't on the court. No disrespect to Julius Randle or anything. That's not a testament to like, oh, he sucks or anything. That's more of a testament to like their styles just weren't fitting together. And I do think that Julius Randle was someone that kind of had to go. I didn't necessarily think it had to be right now, because I thought they would at least give him a game or a few games, a good point of the season. I thought they would wait until at least the trade deadline to do something, or closer to the trade deadline. But no. And now that Donte DiVincenzo is gone, the Nova Knicks didn't even get to play a game together. Not one. Jalen Brunson took that pay cut, and they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to bring in one of the most highly paid players in the NBA who's not worth the money in Karl Anthony Towns, bro. In terms of the on-court stuff for New York, I'm not mad at the move. It's a very interesting move. Like I said, I didn't think Julius Randle fit. I didn't think he had the spacing they needed, but he's also not a great defender. So it's like, you're not bringing any of that interior defense, but you're also not adding any spacing on the offensive end. Jalen Brunson's a guy that likes to get into the paint. You know, Mitchell Robinson's not going to space a damn thing. So it's like you got two guys down there that aren't going to really be useful outside of the paint mid-range area at best. And then you got Jalen Brunson, who's a guy that likes to get into the paint and does a lot of things from like getting to the free throw line, does a lot of things from slashing, does a lot of things from just driving and kicking. He does a lot of things from the paint. That's how he generates a lot of offense. So I'm not mad at the move, but the biggest thing for me in this trade is chemistry. Chemistry matters, and I don't think a lot of people are putting into like account the chemistry. Chemistry is genuinely so important. I think the chemistry got worse here. I think that for New York, I think the chemistry got worse here. I think the depth got worse here, but they did also need another big. Your only bigs on the team being Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson's always hurting. Precious Achiuwa's mid. Coming from a Raptors fan, trust me, I've seen plenty of him. He's alright. Like, he's not terrible, but he's mid. You needed another big, and I expect Cat to get a lot of solid 5 minutes. I expect him to see a lot of, like, not 5 minutes again. I'm talking about, like, minutes at the 5, minutes at the center position. I expect him to get a lot of those minutes where you're seeing him play in more of a 5 role like you used to see him do in Minnesota before Rudy Gobert was there, as opposed to being the 4. Now, do I think their starting lineup is going to have him as the 4? Probably. I think their starting lineup will definitely be Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson. I think that's going to be their lineup, right? And that's a good lineup because they needed that, and they needed that spacing, but they lost Donte DiVincenzo, a guy that just is coming off of a career year, and maybe they're seeing things that we're not seeing. Maybe they're seeing that Donte DiVincenzo year is not happening again. Maybe they're thinking, oh, that's not replicable. He's not looking like that guy anymore. Maybe we got to get off of him now before his value tanks. And if that's the truth, that's the truth. Okay, if that's the truth, and Donte DiVincenzo comes out this season looking like hot garbage, the Knicks, you played me. All right, you were right. Get rid of him. I'm not mad at you. But Donte DiVincenzo is a guy that had a very great shooting season last year and just a very great season overall. Not only did he have a great season, his chemistry with those Villanova guys, with the Jalen Brunson, with the Ryan Arcidiacono, I don't even know if he's still on the team, but he's just one of those guys, with the Mikal Bridges piece, with the Josh Hart piece, that's a big thing. We were calling this the power of friendship team, the Nova Knicks, all of that, everything like that. Bro, you just lost one of the key pieces to that. And that's not great. Like, I get it. If you would have played them all together and it wasn't looking great, you're like, okay, we kind of need to do something right now. Without the DiVincenzo, you kind of have to be a throw into this deal to make the money work and everything, since Cat's making $50 million a year. I get that if that would have happened. But you didn't even give him a week. You didn't even give him a game. You didn't even wait till training camp was over. I don't know about that. I don't know how. I'm assuming Jalen Brunson was called before this deal happened. But if he wasn't, I don't know how you convince him and the rest of those guys that this was the move that they needed. Unless there was problems with Julius Randle in the locker room and these guys were like, hey, he's got to go or whatever. I don't know how you convince them that, yeah, we got off Julius Randle, who's not a bad player. He just didn't necessarily fit. But we also lost Dante DiVincenzo, and then we get a guy that, yeah, maybe he fits a little better, but he's inconsistent as hell and soft, in my opinion. Like, they're losing toughness and they're losing chemistry to add a guy that is making $50 million a year. They're adding a guy that most people think is overpaid, soft, and inconsistent while losing chemistry and toughness. This was a team that was super scrappy. This was a team that, to me, led by Coach Tom Thibodeau, doesn't have any piece on it that's like, oh, I look at him as soft. There are teams where there are guys and we look at them and we're like, yeah, oh yeah, he's soft as baby food. I look at certain teams and they have guys where I'm like, oh yeah, he's soft. He's not really with that. The Knicks didn't have one of those guys. I don't know Karl-Anthony Towns. Maybe I'm hating. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just a fool that's just yip-yapping on the internet, gonna get 1-2 views on this video, or maybe, this is the first video that'll pop off. One can hope. But he seems soft to me. Karl-Anthony Towns seemed like a guy that's soft. He doesn't seem like a guy that's going to fit in that scrappy role where he's going to be forced to play, not forced, but asked to play 40, 48 minutes a game, especially come playoff time. He just doesn't. It's not like, the thing to me is, I get on the court, he might be a better fit. Offensively, for sure, he's definitely a better fit. Even size-wise and maybe even defensively, he's probably a better fit. But that locker room stuff, that chemistry stuff, it matters. Cat's not a guy that I think is like difficult to get along with or is a bad person by any means. I don't get that vibe from him, but like, I also don't get the vibe that he's necessarily going to mess well with the rest of those guys. Those guys seem fun and lighthearted and everything like that, but they also on the court are very scrappy. They're a very tough team. They're a team that's not going to complain a whole lot. Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't really fit that to me based on what I've seen from him. Now, let's move on to the Timberwolves side of things, because this is also an interesting side of things. This isn't just the Knicks that traded somebody. The Timberwolves calling Cat is something that I called for to happen after this offseason. I called that they should lose Cat. I thought that they should try to trade him. I thought they should try to get rid of him, not just because he, to me, underperformed in the playoffs, but also because he's making $50 million a year, and they're a team that's close to that second apron, if I'm not mistaken. I called that Julius Randle should be gone. I said I think he needs to be traded. I think he will be traded before the deadline, and I said the same thing about Cat. I said if they can find somebody to get off that $50 million, but it's a good package, I'm not mad at it. And they did those things. So I'm not mad that he's gone. I'm not mad about the trade. But losing Cat does put more offensive pressure on Ant, and not just like offensive pressure, because Julius Randle is a guy that's going to generate shots, and he's a guy that's going to get his points on offense. Don't get me wrong. I'm very I'm expecting him to be a consistent 20 and 10. I'm expecting that for Julius Randle. I'm not looking at Julius Randle as a guy that, one night he might have 30, one night he might have 9, like Cat can do, especially in the playoffs. I'm not looking at Julius Randle as that guy. And he will create shots for the offense. He will create his own shots to an extent, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't space the floor. And on a team where you have Jaden McDaniels, who's not a good floor spacer outside of he's not a good floor spacer outside of being a corner shooter and even then he's somewhat inconsistent, can be somewhat inconsistent. That's not great. Then you also have Rudy Gobert. He damn near can't even make a layup at 7 foot tall. You think he's not spacing the floor. You're not about to ask him to play from the dunker spot. You're not about to ask him to play in the mid range or from the 3-point line. So you have 3 guys on this team that are questionable at best, and that's only for McDaniels. The other 2 are not good at shooting. One of McDaniels is questionable, not questionable, just inconsistent, right? So that's a question mark for me in the starting lineup. Now, you got Terrence Shannon Jr., you got Rob Dillingham, you have Dante DiVincenzo off the bench, you have Naz Reid off the bench. Those are guys that can space the floor. And then you also have that defense. Naz Reid is a guy that can play some defense. You're going to have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a guy that can play some defense, right? That's good. That's all good. You have the pieces. But the rotation for Chris Finch is going to be important. Because I feel like come playoff time, there's not going to be a whole lot of time where we're seeing Jaden McDaniels Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert on the court together, because that's not a good shooting front court, and a good shooting front court is something that you typically need to win an NBA championship that we've seen over the last few years. Like I said, Julius Randle, he's going to get his buckets. He's going to get his points. Please don't get me wrong. Minnesota, they got deeper this offseason. And yes, I believe Ant can take on a bigger role on offense, especially, with space in the floor and everything like that. I believe he can. But that's also asking a lot from him. Anthony Edwards is a guy that I've said he needs to work on his playmaking. He needs to work on his off-ball defense. He needs to work on some of his pull-ups. He needs to just work on his decision-making come clutch time, come like in the certain moments offensively. He needs to work on his decision-making. He needs to get more consistent from shooting the ball, especially on those pull-ups, right? And I believe he can do all those things. He's a young guy, and I'm 100% confident that he can do those things. But with this trade, you're asking him to do them a lot quicker. With Cat there, at least in the regular season, you've got somebody else that can space the floor. Now, when the bench unit comes in, when your rotational pieces come in for Chris Finch, you've got guys on the bench that can do that. But when the starting lineup has 3 guys on it that are at best inconsistent shooters, that's not great. Now, maybe they'll change the starting lineup. Maybe I don't know anything, or maybe there's more deals to come. I don't know. But that's the biggest worry for me with Minnesota. Like, for me, I'm not a huge fan of this trade for either team. I'm not looking at this trade where it's like, oh yeah, both teams A+, both teams, like, that just catapulted them up from being even more and more, like, they were already contenders. That catapulted them up from being like, oh, top of the 2, top 3 contenders in the league. I'm not looking at either team like that. If I had to pick which team this is probably going to be better for, this is the top to a Yankee candle. I don't even know why. Like, I don't know why I'm holding this. If I had to pick which team I would probably say won this trade, I'm going to... $50 million's a lot of money. Chemistry's a big deal. The Dante DiVincenzo piece is huge, bro. I genuinely don't know. I can't pick a winner. This is going to be one of those where, like, the winner gets a B+, the loser gets a B. I'm going to say the winner is... For right now, for me, I'm a guy that's not high on Cat. I'm going to say the winner is the Timberwolves. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I don't know anything. But I'm going to say that the winner is the Timberwolves. I think the team that has more potential off this deal is the Knicks. But I think right now, when the season starts up, the team that will be better will be the Timberwolves. Yeah, that's what we're going to say. I can't believe this deal happened. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's other deals that are going to come. Bro, when I tell you that group chat was blowing up, I was with my girl, I'm eating, right? And then we go lay down, we trying to watch, Grey's Anatomy. It's a good show. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care what you got to say. It's a good show, okay? She got me hooked onto it. I'm on season 3. It's a phenomenal show. But boy, the group chat started blowing up. I don't know how we started talking about point guards. We started talking about his basketball, or the positions that was the 4 dead. A lot happened in the group chat after this all happened. But, bro, I was not expecting this to hit my phone last night, and I said, as soon as it happened. So, bro, I can't wait for the NBA season to start up, man. Just a few more weeks till the NBA season starts up. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching. And sorry this video didn't get out last night. I literally just walked in the door, threw my stuff down, immediately recorded on this video, and you'll seeing it about 20 minutes after I got home. So, yeah, love y'all. Oh, and God provides. He will. Stop worrying. Once you've prayed about it, you're good. Once you've prayed about it, trust God and trust that it's in His hands. He provides. He loves you more than anyone. If God sent His own Son to die for our salvation, for our wickedness, we don't deserve it. I sin every single day. I struggle with stuff every single day, and yet this man still forgives me and shows me grace and shows me love, shows me compassion, still shows me that He loves me by convicting me. God provides. It doesn't matter what you are needing God for right now. Trust that He provides. See the victory. There's nothing in your life too big for God. There's nothing you could ask for that's too big for God to provide. If it's in His will, it'll happen. I love y'all. Stay blessed. Stay praying. Let me know what y'all think about this trade in the comments, please, because I'm still torn on it, man. All right.